still alive, and we back with another one, man. And I've had a lot of people requesting do Larry Bird toughness videos and do Larry Bird injury videos, and I had this one pop up, and it's 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was one of the toughest players ever to play the game. And I agree with that. The more and more I watch him, 100%. Like, there's only a few players that I know that played hurt like Larry Bird, and Kobe Bryant's one of them. Michael Jordan would play hurt. Michael Jordan never got hurt like Larry Bird did, but like Kobe would play through broken bones and torn shit too, and knee problem. You know what I mean? So other than them two, like I don't. There's a lot I'm sure that played through injuries. I'm not saying that, but I always thought Kobe Bryant was one of the toughest players to ever play. And I'm starting to think Larry Bird's right there with him. Like Larry Bird is tough as fuck. Like Kobe Bryant might be the second toughest player to ever play. I think Larry Bird's probably one of the toughest because he fought through some of the worst injuries that imaginable, broken backs, broken faces, all types of shit. So we're gonna get right off into this video, man. Make sure y'all drop a like, comment, subscribe, and make sure y'all drop any videos or just suggestions on videos, like what type of stuff you want me to watch, and I'll try my best. I've been getting a lot of requests on some of the videos, so it's hard for me to get to everything, but I appreciate all of you, and we're going to get into this right now.
Incredibly tough the guy was, trying to play on a freshly sprained ankle to wield the with our. We've all heard the stories about Kobe Bryant, and most of us have actually seen with our own eyes how incredibly tough the guy was.
Back.
Trying to play on a freshly sprained ankle to wheel the Lakers to the playoffs, winning the championship with a fractured finger. He's got a great case for being the toughest player in NBA history. But then there's Larry Bird, and many people don't know it, but he might have been equally as tough, if not tougher than Kobe Bryant when it came to pain tolerance. Bird was such a warrior that he often didn't even like to let the team staff know he was hurt. That is until later in his career when his back had deteriorated to an unbearable point. And because Bird was such a warrior, today I want to tell you guys 4 crazy stories about Larry Bird's insane level of toughness.
All right, let's do this.
What's up, NBA fans? Dom 2K on the mic.
I know a lot of the stories, so I don't know how many of these stories I'm going to know. We're going to get into this and find out.
And you've probably seen the shots of Larry Bird torturing himself later in his career when his back was forcing him into retirement, but you might not know what allowed him to deal with that pain in the first place. It turns out Larry was dealing with physical ailments even before he entered the league. Before he'd ever played a game with the Celtics, he actually had his knuckle shattered by a baseball that put his professional career in jeopardy. But
damn, I didn't know that at all.
Because he's Larry Bird and Larry Bird is from a different planet, he was able to put together a top 10 NBA career despite not ever having
top 10. He's top 5. Anybody who doesn't have Larry Bird in their top 5 is crazy. They didn't watch Larry Bird play.
The same shooting touch before he
if somebody doesn't have Larry Bird in the top 5, they didn't realistically watch the game.
Shattered his knuckle. Wrap your mind around that for a second. Larry Bird accomplished everything he did in his career, and he said out of his own mouth that he never had the same feel for the basketball after the knuckle injury. But as it turns out, that's just an appetizer compared to what he'd endured throughout his career. Let's jump into it. Number 4, hole in the face.
What is that?
Ready?
I didn't know nothing about a hole in his face. What the fuck are we talking about? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's insane. Man, I know y'all. I gotta get premium or whatever it is.
I figured we'd start off with something crazy we've seen before. Remember when Russell Westbrook fell down after his free throw and got a hole kicked in his jaw? Yeah, that left a lot of us wondering if Westbrook was actually Android a human because he got up, moved his mouth around a little bit, and finished up what was left of the game. Luckily for him, that was only about 1 second of game time. However, it turns out that 33 years earlier, Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook.
I didn't know this happened to Westbrook. How did he break his jaw? What happened? How did he get a hole in his jaw? That's crazy as fuck. Westbrook's a tough motherfucker, dude.
Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook one better. I originally thought there wasn't footage of this on YouTube, but I'm so thankful there was because you need to witness how brutal this is.
I don't know nothing about this. I know about his back injuries and him breaking his face, later on breaking his jaw and everything. But I have no idea, unless this is the same incident, but I don't think it is because he didn't have a hole in his face when he broke his jaw.
was. In a 1982 game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Larry Bird drove left to the basket and tried to make it a routine jump shot. It clanked off the rim, Bird went up to rebound his own miss, and was violently elbowed by power forward Harvey Catchings. Where Westbrook's injury was an accident by his own teammate that didn't even look too bad initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose, and you actually cringe a bit when you see how hard the shot was.
What?
Footage and say it wasn't on.
That doesn't look like it's on purpose. That looks like he was going for the ball and just flailed his arms after. I hate how people try to say some of this shit's intentional. Like you can tell intentional shit, like some of the shit Draymond Green did and Ron Artest did, and or Metal World Peace, and you know what I mean. Like there's a lot of players out there that have done intentional shit. What Wemby did to whoever it was on the Thunder during the playoffs, like that's intentional. Like I hate how some people try to make like plays in the middle of the game be like that's intentional, technical, kick them out. Like the shit with Caitlin Clark where that girl was going for the ball and her hand accidentally hit right here in the middle. Like you can tell that was completely on accident and everybody's making a huge deal out of it. This did not look intentional to me.
Teammate that didn't even look too bad initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say,
look, he went up for the ball, he missed it, and he's turning around. He doesn't even know how close Larry Bird is. He's not even looking that direction.
it wasn't on purpose.
That's not on purpose. Stop it. Stop.
And you actually cringe a bit when you see
Look how bad he felt instantly. Instantly, he's like, oh, fuck. Like, he did not do that on purpose.
hard the shot was.
He starts going straight towards Larry Bird in the first video. That is not on purpose. Stop it.
The elbow practically knocked Bird out and left him lying on the floor for several minutes as he looked seriously injured. From what I can tell in the tape, the injury appeared to happen before the end of the third quarter because Larry Bird went back to the locker room and came back out before the period had ended. In the fourth quarter, playing with what we now know was a fractured zygotic arch, Bird would score 8 more points including a poster dunk, 2 assists, adding some defense and hustle plays as he was even shoved out of bounds during one of the possessions. His efforts led the Celtics to a narrow win as he finished with 16 points, meaning he scored half of them with a fractured arch in crunch time, and even though we can't see it on the grainy 80s footage, Bird's jaw was depressed inward the same way Westbrook's was.
Crazy.
After Larry left his heart on the floor for his team, he was sent to the hospital where doctors had to drill a hole into the side of his face.
Damn, what the fuck? They had to drill a hole in his fucking face? That's crazy.
And insert a medical tool to pop his zygotic arch back out.
Why?
If social media had been around with clear footage back in these days, this performance would probably be a lot more famous. We were shocked to see Westbrook standing on his own with a hole in his face. Imagine watching Larry Bird play an entire extra quarter while leading his team to the win.
Facts.
Number 3, just give me a beer. It's understandable that Larry dealt with injuries like back problems and broken bones in the face. Those things just tend to happen when you're crashing into the floor and whatnot. But when Larry Bird had a
Larry Bird left everything on the court. 100%. He left everything on the court. You see him full speed diving like Rodman was after him, but I'm saying like the way Rodman would dive straight into the crowd, not giving a fuck about his body. Larry Bird was doing that shit first. Larry Bird was putting his body on the line every night. We don't see that nowadays. The star players are not diving as hard as they can, trying to get loose balls and risking getting hurt. They're just not doing it. They're doing load management. They're not risking getting hurt so they can get, they're not doing it.
Infection, it really seemed like somebody was just testing how much
I never got to see this competitiveness, but it was like this in the early 2000s. I missed the competitiveness that basketball used to have. It's just there's some teams that still have it and some players, but it's just not there like it used to be.
Could take before he finally sat out a game. In the year 1985, Bird reportedly had a serious pain going on in his toe for 3 weeks that he played on, and he wouldn't bother to get it checked out because, again, he didn't like to let anybody know he was hurt. Finally, he let the doctor look at his foot, to which it would be found that Bird had a toe infection that would require his toe to be cut so the infection could drain.
Damn, Bird was a fucking G, bro. Holy crap, he was tough as fuck.
The doctor insisted that Bird take a shot of Novocaine to ease the pain because the infection was actually between his toes, which was obviously going to hurt a lot. And then Bird responded, just give me one of those beers over there. So
just give me one of them beers.
He used that as his pain medication. The doctor cut 2.5 inches into his toe to let the infection drain. Larry wrapped up the foot and played the exact same night.
Crazy. Crazy. I never heard this story. That's insane. he was tough as nails. Nails, fuck nails. That motherfucker was tough as steel I-beams, bro. Holy crap.
Unfortunately, I can't find any kind of information on when this game
I'm
was,
sorry,
who
Kobe Bryant was tough as shit, but Kobe Bryant played through all types of injuries and broken fingers and all types, walked off the court with a torn Achilles by himself when we see players getting carried off the court, you know what I mean, for that same injury. But Larry Bird was a different level of tough. Holy fuck.
was against or anything like that. I can't even see how he performed. But when he got done with the game, the wrap was obviously soaked in blood and he was in considerable pain during the game. If it's anything like the other ridiculous games Bird had after some kind of injury that should have had him sitting for days, it's safe to say he performed well. But the fact that he played with a 2.5-inch cut into his toe with no pain meds is impressive enough for me.
Facts.
Number 2, double vision.
That's crazy. That's actually insane.
A lot of people can't even shoot when there's just one basket sitting still, so imagine trying to play in a professional game when you fractured your eye orbiter and you're seeing two
No way.
baskets. Now the injury itself sounds pretty comparable to what Derrick Rose had not too long ago, the difference here being that Rose got hurt before the season and was able to get his problems to a manageable point before playing in a real game.
Okay.
Bird, however, would not be so lucky. In a 1988 game against the Cavaliers, Bird was on fire, having scored 13 points in the first quarter, but when he spun away from Craig Elo with a clear lane to the basket, Del Curry of all people would rotate and hit Bird with a violent elbow to the side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently trying to take out the best one of his generation. Anyways, Bird sustained.
Damn, bro. He was getting beat the fuck up. And people try to say that the game's more physical now. They've got to be fucking retarded if they say shit like that.
A fractured eye orbiter that again kept him on the floor for minutes. He went on to the locker room for treatment, came back out like he had done 6 years earlier, only this time he would score 18 more points to put the finishing touches on a 31-point game that included 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals on.
Sorry for my language, y'all. I'm not somebody that holds my language the best, but honestly, they have to be dumb as fuck to try to say that today's game. I've heard this out of people's mouth. People try to say today's game is more physical and like everything, like just the pace and everything, which the pace is faster. I will admit that, and more spread out. But people try to say the game is more physical today than it was back then, and they have to be like, they need a helmet and a short bus to say something like that. That's insane. It's insane to people don't see what Bird went through, what Michael Jordan went through with the fucking bad boy Pistons, like what fucking the Lakers went through going against Hakeem Olajuwon and shit. Like, motherfuckers were getting beat up back in the day. And people try to say it was more physical now than it was back then. Stop it.
11 of 20 shooting, but the stats weren't even the most impressive part. According to Larry, he played the rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at.
Crazy.
But that's not the best part either. Not only did he light Cleveland up, but we know double vision doesn't go away after one game. As we've already established, if there was any other option than to sit a game out, that's what Bird was gonna do. He ended up playing 4 more games with goggles that I'm not even sure anybody really knew he wore, and in those games, he scored 36, 30, 28, and 34 points.
I've never seen the pictures of him with goggles on or any. In all the highlight reels I've watched of Larry Bird, I've never seen a single play of him with goggles on. That's crazy. Why is this not talked about more? He couldn't see. He was seeing 2 baskets and wearing goggles and still lighting motherfuckers up.
Larry Bird fashion, he shot a staggering 55% from the field with that. Violent elbow, fractured eye orbiter, goggles, elite scoring, hitting on over half of his field goal attempts. Again, he's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is from another planet.
Facts.
Just to add some gore to the story, apparently after the Cleveland game where he initially broke the orbiter, he noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a typical day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess. Number 1, Celtic pride.
What? Nuh-uh.
He noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a typical day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess.
Are we serious right now?
Yes. Number 1, Celtic pride.
What the?
You hear all this talk about Celtic pride anytime we speak about the history, and Larry Bird contributed in big part to that as his career was wrapping up. Possibly the most famous scene from the ending of his career is the one we've all seen. Larry was diving for a loose ball, goes crashing to the floor as his head bangs against it violently, and he just lays there as if his body couldn't take it anymore. Truth be told, it really couldn't. Bird was dealing with insane back issues by this point in his career, and it was through sheer determination that he was even playing by this point. However, the story behind this scene is that not only was Bird's back locking up on him, but the shot he took to the head actually knocked him unconscious for a second.
No, that's the one that when he broke his. I'm pretty sure this is the one where he broke his something again, because this is when he goes to the locker room and then his team started losing and he comes back in to win the game. I'm pretty sure he broke something right here. If I remember correctly, you guys can correct me. I appreciate everybody who corrects me in the comments for real, because I don't know everything. Like I said, I'm still learning. Sometimes I forget, you know what I mean? So I appreciate the people that'll be like, hey bro, it was actually this and this and this. I do appreciate that shit. So if I'm wrong here, please let me know. But didn't he break something right here? He got knocked out, but I'm pretty sure he broke something right here too, because he goes to the locker room and then he comes back out and wins the game.
And left him with a concussion that threatened to keep him out of the rest of an elimination game 5 against the Pacers. By this point, Larry was 34 years old and had missed 22 games throughout the season, and his best days had been stripped from him by an ever deteriorating back. He sat in the locker room debating whether to go back into the game as Boston had lost their edge without him, and most of the way through the third quarter, the advantage was with the Pacers. When Larry asked the doctor for advice, he said he should be done for the day, but by this point, we all know Larry just wasn't built like that.
Yeah,
he was still breathing.
Facts. He comes back out and fucking dominates and wins the game.
So he went back into the game with the Celtics down by 3, while they were being cracked over the head by Chuck Persons, I might add. With Bird back in the game, Boston would go on a ridiculous 33-14 run and went on to win the game by 3 points, sending the Pacers home for the playoffs.
Crazy.
Bird finished with 32 points, 9.
Crazy toughness, bro. By far, yep. Kobe, I'm sorry. You're my favorite player. You're my second greatest of all time. But Bird was tougher than you. Rest in peace to the Mamba, but Bird was tougher than you. Like, he went through way more injuries. Kobe probably would have been playing the same with all these injuries. I'm not saying that, but Bird went through so many injuries and played through them all. And he is literally tough as shit. Holy fuck.
Rebounds and 7 assists while
I was mesmerized by his passing and shit. Like, I'm mesmerized by how tough this motherfucker was.
Shooting 63% from the field. But again, that's not the most shocking part of this story. According to teammates like Robert Parrish, when Bird hit the floor, they weren't sure he was ever going to play again. Remember that this happened at the end of Bird's career, and after back surgeries and having to lay in a fiberglass brace for hours just to be well enough to play, some thought that the fall he took meant the end of his career. And it probably would have been if Larry Bird was from Earth. But
if Larry Bird was from Earth,
he went out and put up one of the most memorable playoff performances of all time. The kind of performance that really makes you sad that his career was really cut short by injury.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Can you imagine if he didn't have the injuries, how fucking... I said if he didn't have his injuries that he did and he had his team still around him, he would have won 6 or 7 championships instead of 3. He would have. Plain and simple. If he would have had a long career like LeBron has or something like that, he would have won 6 or 7 championships easy. Maybe 8.
4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was likely the toughest player of all time. The crazy part about it, after reading the book he wrote with Magic Johnson and researching a little bit, I could have easily told 10 or more. The truth that people don't really talk about in terms of Larry is that despite his amazing career, it was truly only a shell of what he could have been. As early as 1985, only 6 years into Larry Bird's career, he was already experiencing back issues that resulted from him doing concrete work around his house that he could have paid someone else to do. But that's just who Larry was, an incredibly hard worker that prided himself on being the same type of soldier his father was. Larry cherishes the story about his father when he came home one day from work and had a busted ankle.
Crazy how tough this motherfucker was. This is what happens when you grow up in the country. People get tough as fuck growing up in the country, man. I was beat up and all types of shit when I was a kid, doing all types of crazy shit in the country, working on farm, like just running around. Fuck, I don't know how many injuries. I've broke so many bones in my life. I've had like 8 or 9 casts. Like, this is what happens when you grow up in the country for real. You get tough as shit.
Ankle was so bad that Larry had to help him put the shoe on, and his father went right back to work. It was the kind of example that led Larry to play through the ridiculous pain he began to experience really only a short way into his
Like my
career.
ass is in so much pain 24/7 with because I have broken hardware in my back that I'm about to have surgery on and stuff. And I'm just waiting on like it all to work out so I can have this surgery. Like my nerve pain from where my injury is, like down, is so bad. It feels like my nerve pain, my legs is on fire 24/7 because of this broken hardware. So like I fucking live with pain literally 24/7. So like I feel his pain for real.
Bird played a total of 13 of the most memorable seasons any NBA player could produce, but imagine one of our modern stars only lasting 13 years. LeBron is already on his 14th campaign, Durant is already on his 10th, but what if those guys only played the
Damn, this video must be old because if LeBron's been in the league for over 20 years now, not 14.
13 though? That's just for perspective of what a Flash Bird's career really was. And we're lucky that for that short amount of time, he had the high pain tolerance that he did, because if he was actually human and sat out those
If
games,
he was actually human.
anybody else would have sat out, we would have likely seen even less of him. So in conclusion, I think Bird is proof that there is life
Every time he got hit in the back, you could tell that shit hurt. I feel his pain. Like I've had 3 back surgeries in my life. I'm about to have another one. Like I got fucking 2 rods and 8 screws in my back and
outside of
paralyzed from the belly button down. So like he wasn't paralyzed, but I feel his pain with the back surgeries and getting hit in the back and all that shit. That couldn't have been fun out there.
Earth, and we really aren't alone. Somewhere out there is the planet Larry Bird came from, where there's extraterrestrial life that apparently doesn't feel any type of pain. Shatter their face, knock them out, just give them a few minutes and they're right back on their feet ready to play.
Right.
And if they're generous enough, maybe they're gonna send another one like Larry to Earth to play in the NBA.
Hey, maybe if they're generous enough, they're gonna send another one like Larry Bird to play in the NBA. He's completely convinced this dude is from another planet.
In the future. But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy that Larry Bird was a part of NBA history. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Leave your favorite Larry Bird story in the comment section because I'm pretty sure you guys have some. If you enjoyed the video,
Facts. That was a good one. There was a few of them I didn't know in that. Leave y'all's favorite Larry Bird stories in the comments. Leave any recommendations on like what you guys want to see. Do you guys want to see some more of his trash talking videos? Do you want to see some more of his highlights? Because it seems like people are loving the Larry Bird ones for real, for real. So just let me know what you guys want to see in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite Larry Bird story was. And we're going to get off here. I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 more lives yet tonight. It's still live checking out. Peace out, y'all.